Each zodiac sign has a super secret.
It's easier to act one way over another, or you just can't help first impressions. Everyone has hidden personality traits. These traits aren't necessarily a bad thing, though. In fact, finding out who a person truly is can be a great and surprising way to connect with them on a deeper level. Take your best friend, for example. When you first met her, you might have already known you met your other half, or you might have thought, this girl is so weird, and figured she'd never be more than just an acquaintance. As time went by and you two got closer, you were probably excited to find out that this girl was an amazing friend and surprised that you were still learning new things about her every day.
For some zodiac signs, first impressions can be pretty damning. Instead of getting to know them, people are quick to judge because of their sign, especially signs like Gemini and Scorpio. But for the most part, it can seem like your first impressions of these signs are true, if only for the fact that you never get a chance to really connect with them. For some more than others, it can take forever to really know the signs. Hidden traits can come out in many different ways. Whether it's with the best friend you've known for 10 years or with someone you've just met, these super secret traits can shed a new light on yourself. And hey, you might learn something totally new too. To find out what your zodiac sign's hidden traits are, keep reading below. You never know what you'll find out.
Aries, March 21st, April 19th. You often get fiery energy when you first meet an Aries, but she can come off as much more aggressive than she actually is. While it's true that she does have a bold personality, Aries has a second layer that isn't prominent until you get to know her. Hidden underneath that alpha personality is sensitivity and compassion. Aries is really a romantic being who often has her head in the clouds. She might try to hide this part of herself as protection, but once she's comfortable around you, she'll start to open up more.
Taurus, April 20th, May 20th. Taurus is often perceived as either one of two things, uber laid back or super stubborn. While she might seem this way, and don't get her wrong, she loves to relax, it isn't always what's really going on. Even more, Taurus hates when she's called lazy or hard-headed. Taurus fights for what's right, no questions asked. So, while it might look like she just wants a fight, what she really wants is justice. Deep down she's determined, assured, and energetic. When there's something she wants, she'll be anything but lazy.
Gemini, May 21st, June 20th. Gemini often gets a bad rap when it comes to her personality. Her sign stereotypes her into being the two-faced, moody type when it's simply not true. Yes, it's often hard for her to express the emotions she wants, instead of the ones she thinks others want from her, but she's anything but negative and unreliable. Deep down, Gemini is one of the most level-headed people you will meet. It might take some time to get her to trust you before opening up, but once she does, you'll see she's more than meets the eye. When you just need a friend on your side, she always brings her calming nature with her to reassure her friends. And when you want a lover who appreciates the sensual, emotional side of sex, Gemini is your girl.
Cancer, June 21st, July 22nd. Cancer constantly gets pigeonholed as being an overly emotional and moody person who tends to keep her guard up. For this sign, it can be hard for her to express herself in front of others without fear of being criticized. Cancer is extremely intelligent and clever, and often uses her smarts to vibe off of others' emotions. So, even if she would much rather be her true self, it's sometimes easier to read the room instead of being totally comfortable. That said, Cancer is most comfortable being herself when she's alone or with very close friends, which means it might take a long time to see this hidden side of her.
Leo, July 23rd, August 22nd. On the surface, Leo can seem like a confident, yet guarded person to those who don't know her. In reality, this is very untrue. Her dramatic nature can also make her look like she's only out for herself, which can mess with people's perception of her. If you're not close with Leo, then this can all seem like fair assessments. Instead, Leo is actually a very sensitive person who loves using her generous nature for good. She is also extremely loyal to her closest friends, which allows her to get in touch with her empathetic side.
Virgo, August 23rd, September 22nd. More often than not, Virgo gets stereotyped as being the quiet, sometimes judgmental, analytical sign. And even more often, people assume that this means they have Virgo all figured out and won't take the time to get to know the real her. Virgo knows she's smart, so she won't waste her time trying to hide it. But that doesn't mean she's prideful. In fact, she's an intentional, self-sufficient girl who knows what she wants and how to get it. This power helps her gain influence and be an amazing leader.
Libra, September 23rd, October 22nd. On the outside, Libra looks more like a friendly, passive person. Some might say she's superficial because she doesn't like getting into the middle of arguments, but that's not always the case. Just because Libra doesn't always say something doesn't mean she isn't seeing everything. Deep down, Libra is a thoughtful, introspective person who takes it all in before making a move. She's also a very critical person, of herself and others, which means she's devoted to always trying to do what's right. Not passive at all.
Scorpio, October 23rd, November 21st. Scorpio often gets painted in a bad light, with people focusing more on her perceived aggressiveness and zeal, rather than what's really underneath it all. While it's true that she is a very passionate, strong person, she doesn't express these traits the way everyone thinks she does. What Scorpio hides from the world is a romantic and gentle side. She tries to fight for what's important for her, but when she isn't able to shut that off, that's when people start making assumptions. She also has an idealistic, dreamy outlook on life, which makes her much softer around the edges than she seems.
Sagittarius, November 22nd, December 19th. To anyone who has just met Sagittarius, she's social, charming, and sometimes flirty girl. She loves to have fun and will always find a way to keep the party going. This isn't entirely untrue, but Sagittarius isn't a shallow party girl like everyone thinks. Many people like Sagittarius' carefree nature, so while she's actually more serious than she seems, it's sometimes easier to just hide that side of her and be the person others like best. In reality, Sagittarius is profound and analytical, always thinking and always eager to learn.
Capricorn, December 20th, January 19th. Capricorn can be reserved and serious most of the time, and she knows it, but that's only because it's not always easy for her to open up to strangers. Capricorn's biggest, and most surprising, hidden traits are that she's very inspired and optimistic. It might not look like that to the naked eye, but Capricorn is truly a positive girl. When people say she's reserved, it usually comes from her philosophical, wise nature. She might be a deep thinker, but she also knows how to have fun.
Aquarius, January 20th, February 18th. There's a lot going on under the surface when it comes to Aquarius, but what that is might surprise people. She's often portrayed as eccentric and cold with a tough outer shell, but Aquarius is far from that. Aquarius sometimes struggles to love herself, which can project onto others as unfeeling or emotionless, when really, she doesn't always feel comfortable letting people see her real self. Aquarius is a reliable person who will always stand up for her friends, and herself, even when it's hard, and stays grounded even when things don't go as planned. She's also a die-hard realist, which can easily translate into pessimism instead of what it really is, intelligence.
Pisces, February 19th, March 20th. Pisces is one of those signs that is always underestimated, no matter what the situation is. Once people convince themselves that Pisces is nothing more than a dreamy, romantic, emotional person, they don't really care what her real personality is. Pisces can be all of these things, but there's more than meets the eye with her. She's not as connected to others as she seems. Don't think that means she doesn't like being helpful and kind, though. She enjoys doing her own thing more than anything, and is way more intelligent than people give her credit for. Even though she seems dreamy, she's actually incredibly innovative and thoughtful.